Most entertaining defender is our next category. So this is an award that I came up with the end of last season. I call this the Emmy for best defender.
Okay.
It's the player that I want to give defensive player of the year to, but know that I can't because none of the stuff backs it up. But I just love watching this guy play, and it's somebody who I tune in every single night on League Pass, and I'm like, I can't wait to see what X is going to do to fuck up the other team's day. Like, I just can't wait. And the winner last year was Jalen Suggs. And he
Okay.
would have been the winner this year, but he was ineligible because the games played, just because he literally wasn't out there. And that's the only reason he's not winning this award. I've got four candidates here. But before I give you my candidates, did you have somebody that you wanted to talk about for this award?
Yeah, but I took it a little bit more literally. And then I went back and watched a lot of game footage because I wanted to make sure that this worked both ways, like in a real way, but also in the way that I think I knew you meant. Because to me, it is Dyson Daniels, but I know he is eligible for Defensive
Right.
Player of the Year. But I will say, like, the way that he plays basketball is so not trying to, not trying to, this is not a slight, this is not like a jab, but it's so upright to me. It's like of another era. It's
Mm,
like watching the Wilt Chamberlain era of basketball. Like his posture is just like physically upright. He seems like he's too stiff to be sneaky, and yet he's leading the league in steals. And the way
interesting.
he steals, we were talking about earlier, watching Jokic clips over and over again. I do the same thing with Dyson Daniels to be like, how did he get that steal? Like, where did he
Right.
come from? Like, sometimes he will just kind of use his height and his length to like spin himself around a defender, almost like he's getting into their gravitational slipstream to just be able to get the ball. And then he never seems like he is a bit stiff. So it never seems like he's that loose with it. You know, I think of a lot of people who we think of as like being really good with interceptions and steals are like a more smooth, right? And
Hmm.
like able to play in a slick way. And like he really doesn't. Like and
Right.
he always seems kind of surprised that it's happened. Like he's always like, you know, and it's like, man, they made like a whole, you're the great barrier thief. Like they made a really excellent nickname for you. And you're still a
Right.
little bit like pleased every time that this happens. So yeah, that's why he's
This
my
is why I
pick.
have you on, because you're the first person to point out Dyson Daniels' posture mid game,
Watch, it'll
and
be impossible not to see. Like
you're
plays, I
right.
can't. Yeah,
You're absolutely right. He's very like straight up. Like he's
super upright.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see an X-ray of his spine. So Dyson Daniels won the award for me too. We nailed it.
Okay.
He
All
got the
right.
Emmy. He quite literally stole it from Jalen Suggs. There is not a defender who I enjoy watching more than Dyson Daniels. Other candidates, really quick before we get into more about Daniels: Draymond Green, Amen Thompson, Lou Dort. Like those are my guys. Draymond Green, he would have won for most entertaining defensive picture.
Yeah.
Like not for
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
season, just
Hmm.
what he did to Giannis in that one game. I was like, oh my god, this was really cool. I felt like I just jumped back into a time machine to like 8 years ago. But Amen Thompson is just going to finish in the warning from like for all these awards. I just love him. Lou Dort is fun in the way that he just stands in front of players
Hmm.
and doesn't move,
Yeah.
and I find that
Brick wall.
so yeah, I
Yeah.
just find that so interesting in the sort of the whirring of an NBA offense and all the movement and all the stuff that he just stands there and doesn't let you through, and it's so cool. But more impressive, Dyson Daniels is so freaking entertaining. You're absolutely right about the way he gets steals. He does it in a variety of ways. He's got like the wingspan and all that stuff. He also has like these really great instincts for getting both hands over his head
Mm.
to intercept those passes, which is kind of the hardest pass to intercept, is the one that goes right over your skull because it's just obviously the hardest place to get to. But he's got really good instincts about getting to that. But what I love about him is when he's defending a guy in a pick and roll, he's got this way of going over the screen, getting onto the hip of the guard, the ball handler, which is exactly where the ball handler wants you to be. They have a term for it. Get the
Hmm.
defender on your hip, right? And so he's like, all right, mission accomplished. Got the defender on the hip opposite of the ball that I'm handling with, or the hand that I'm handling with, and it doesn't matter because then Dyson Daniels is like, no, I actually have you right where I want you, and he just takes one of his a million feet arms and just pokes the ball away from you, and then the what's my favorite moment of all of this is when the ball handler looks down and doesn't have the ball anymore.
Yes.
He's like, like they're going to shoot the ball and their hands are empty, and they're just like, "What happened to the ball?" And Dyson Daniels is on the other end, finishing with a layup or a dunk or something. Like, I love it. I love watching him play. It happens like it literally happens 3 times a game. He's averaging 3 steals per game. And every time the offensive player looks surprised. Like, I know what happened to everybody else. It would never happen to me though. And then it happens to them.
I want to like talking about this has made me really want to map out like a steel tree or something, because I want to know like, well, there's like schools, right, that guys come from. And I think of like someone who I think had this record for the longest time, which was TJ McConnell. And I remember talking to TJ about this and being like, do you just have marks at this point? Because there seem to be people who you're very good for some reason at intercepting. And like, why is that? And TJ's very polite. And he was like, I don't want to imply that anyone is bad at their job or like an easy mark. But he's like,
or
if
give
you're
away trade secrets.
Yeah, he's like, but if you're seeing it, then maybe they're just a little bit easier to anticipate than other people, which was very diplomatic. But, you know, I think that's way more of like a cerebral way. Whereas I think Dyson Daniels is like extremely instinctual about the way that he does it. Just given, again, the surprise in his reaction when he keeps doing it.
He also has a top 5 like cartoon villain face in the league.
Yeah.
Which adds to the whole thing. He almost seems like like literally a villain here just to ruin your offensive day, right? Like it's great. So congrats to the Emmy to Dyson Daniels for most entertaining defensive player.